Okay, I'm going to start with showing you how to get in and out of the car, simple way, and the best. If you're more nimble than I, you can actually just step right over the door. But open your door, come around, step onto the seat. Don't touch the windshield. Do not touch the windshield. Touch the back, touch the seat. Stand up, and then close the door. Make sure it's latched. And these doors, you shouldn't really slam them closed because there's metal parts attached to the fiberglass. So the best way is just to line it up and pull it in. Now you can lean on the door. You can lean on the other seat, not touching the windshield. Put your feet down into the footwell and ease yourself down. And that's it. Start her up, drive away. Now we're going to get out of the car. It's pretty much the reverse of getting in. Your door is closed. You don't want to touch the windshield. You can lean on the door sill here and on the other seat. Bring yourself up. Avoid touching the windshield. Open your door. Step out. Close the door. It's latched. Once again, I must emphasize, you don't want to lean on this windshield. It's only supported at this post, the one on the other side, and a channel along the bottom. That's enough to drive the car at speed. You have no problem. But somebody leans on it, they can crack and break the windshield. They're not cheap. They're available. Okay, next we'll go into cold starting the car. In this part of the video, I'll be discussing the following items. Down here, you can see there's a little red battery disconnect switch, and to turn it on, you lift it like that, and to turn it off, you go the other way, and you can pull it out and take it with you. Okay, and then we have the ignition switch and the starter button. In the engine compartment, we have the throttle linkage right here, this piece, so you can relate to it. And then I'm gonna make the video and show you how we do I also forgot to mention the hood or engine compartment release cover, which is right behind the driver's seat and right below the hole where the cutoff switch goes. I'll pull back so you can see that. So the first thing we want to do is roll the vehicle out, and then we're going to release the hood just by lifting that, and the hood will pop loose, and then I'll continue this video in a second. Okay, now the cold start procedure for this car, and the reason for that is it uses a 50 weight oil. If you're in a cold climate like Ohio, that's going to be pretty thick, and you start this car up and you rev it too high or too hard, you're going to blow out the oil filter. It actually will. I've heard of cases explode, throws the oil all over the inside of the engine compartment, and if you're not aware that it's happened, you could ruin your engine. So what I do when I haven't driven the car for a week or so, and I just want to start it up, I pre-warm it up. These things are kind of like airplanes in a way. You have to do a pre-flight on them for your own safety. You know, make sure everything's connected, make sure there's no fuel leaking, you know, just things you don't do in your normal everyday car, but you develop a habit and start doing it that way, and you should never have problems with the car. So we've released the hood latch lever, or the bonnet lever, and undone the straps, and we're going to lift the hood about this far back, and you reach inside, and there's a prop rod. You see it's U-shaped, and it goes right over that part of the frame. It holds opens it up. You really don't want to bring the hood any further back. And you really always want to put the straps on when you go driving. There was a guy that had one of these. He didn't have the straps. It was a Beck. He hit a bump. The latches came undone. The wind took and lifted the deck lid up and over. And oh boy, that wasn't any fun. Anyway, we have the hood open. We look, see everything looks okay. No gas leaks, nothing coming loose or anything like that. And then we're going to go in and we're going to turn on our battery disconnect switch. Then we're going to turn on our ignition key, and if you listen carefully, you probably can't hear it on this video, but you'll hear the fuel pump pumping. Let that pump for, a minute. Come over here to the linkage, the throttle linkage, and give it like 1, maybe 2 pumps. Okay? Then you come over, you hit your starter button, and you reach back so you have control of your throttle. You let it idle at 2,000 RPM or below. If it's colder where you are, you don't have a heated garage, the oil's real thick, you just let the oil warm up and so that it's flowing. Now after you get back from a run, you shut the car off. I usually pop the hood and open it and let it cool, and even with your ignition switch off, your oil cooler fan, which is temperature operated, will probably still be running. I usually, out here in California, it gets pretty damn hot in the summer. If you've been out on the street, it might be, the tarmac might be 115 degrees. Engine doesn't get that hot, but I usually let it run for a minute or two, and then I shut off the battery disconnect switch so it doesn't wear the battery down. And basically that's it. Like I say, you let it idle 2,000 RPMs or below for about a minute or so, until it's warm. Maybe you can feel the valve covers. Don't burn yourself. And that's about it. Like I say, in your pre-flight, make sure all your linkages are connected and no fuel leaking, and there shouldn't be. But like I say, this damn thing's built like an airplane. You got to think of it like that too. Thank you for listening. The latch for the front hood is way up under the dashboard, under here. It's got a little white knob on it, and what I usually do is when I pull into the garage or at the end of the run, I pop it so it sits open like that. I'm going to open it up. You see the hinge on it. You don't want to put anything down here so that when you close it, that's going to hit it and crush it and maybe pop the hood. Okay? And to close it, once again, gently, make sure it's down there. It's latched. This, if it comes unlatched, it's not a big deal because the wind is kind of pushing it that way. I have a friend that has one. He leaves it popped all the time. But what I do is when I pull in the driveway or the garage, I pop it because it's kind of hard. You have to get into the car, reach up under the dash and undo it. So I just undo it every time I pull in. I'm putting some extra fuses here. I'm going to put the little box inside the door, driver's door, and in this container here I have some studs. And what these are for, come over here, on your wheel, all the wheels, matter of fact, these are bolts. These are lug bolts. So when you take them all off to pull your wheel off, all you're going to have is the drum with holes in it. So what I do to put the wheel back on to make it easy is I take one of the studs and I screw it into the couple of the holes, and then I mount the wheel up on the studs to hold it. then put these bolts back in, then pull the studs out and put the bolts back on. So those will be inside of the driver's door also. Okay, I've put the roll bar in, and it attaches down here. There's a bolt, and on the other side, on the passenger side, there's a bolt. The cross piece attaches down there at the floor with 3 bolts, and it attaches up here on the top with 3 bolts. The best way to take this out is to take out the bolts on the floor, take them completely out, then take the ones here on the top out while you're holding this, because it can fall down, and then just kind of lift it and wiggle it out. Then you take out the cross bolts down here and there and kind of lift this out, all the while, you know, being careful. Just got to tell you that. Okay, and as for the speedometer here, I want to get in close on that. It's 21,524 kilometers, and the trip meter, I've just reset it to 0. So the only traveling this car is going to do is into the truck on Monday morning.